Good day everyone, it's Dr. Richard here from Manchester. Today, I'd like to share something that might surprise many of you, especially those who believe they've been eating perfectly healthy. Have you noticed lately that your legs don't feel as steady as they used to? Perhaps climbing the stairs makes your knees ache, or standing up from the sofa takes a little longer than before. Even though you're eating sensibly, walking every day, and following your doctor's advice, your legs still feel tired, heavy, or stiff. I understand completely. After more than 20 years working with older adults here in the UK, I've realized that what people fear most as they age isn't illness itself, it's losing independence. Strong legs mean freedom. They let you walk to the local shop, visit your garden, enjoy a stroll through the park, or take a day trip with your family without relying on anyone's arm. But here's the surprising truth. Sometimes it's not a lack of exercise or medicine that weakens our legs, but what we eat every single day. There are certain foods, and yes, even some fruits that can quietly damage our joints, increase inflammation, and make our muscles feel weaker over time. Now, fruits are generally healthy, that's true. But after 60, our metabolism slows down, our blood sugar rises more easily, and our joints become far more sensitive to inflammatory triggers. That means some fruits that are great for young people might actually make things worse for older adults, causing swelling, stiffness, or fatigue in the legs. So today, let's uncover the 7 types of fruit that British seniors should limit or enjoy in smaller portions to keep their legs light, strong, and pain-free. And the first one may surprise you. It's pineapple, a fruit that many people believe is wonderfully healthy, but for older adults can sometimes do more harm than good. The hidden cause behind stiff knees and tired legs after 60. When I asked one of my patients, Mr. Thompson, about his daily habits, he told me something that immediately caught my attention. Every afternoon after lunch, he would enjoy a small bowl of pineapple, thinking it was a natural anti-inflammatory after reading about its benefits online. At first, it sounded harmless, but when he stopped eating pineapple for a few weeks and made a few small changes to his meals, his leg pain began to fade and his stiffness noticeably improved. So what was really going on? Pineapple, though bright, juicy, and refreshing, can sometimes become an unexpected enemy for people over 60. It's a tropical fruit loaded with natural sugars, fructose and glucose, which are fine for younger bodies but can quietly strain aging circulation. After 60, the tiny blood vessels in our legs become more delicate and blood flow slows down. When we eat too much pineapple, the sharp spike in blood sugar puts stress on these fragile capillaries. Over time, this can reduce oxygen supply to leg tissues, leaving the legs heavy, sore, or weak after even a short walk. And that's not the only problem. Pineapple is also highly acidic, which can worsen silent inflammation in joints. For older adults living with arthritis, joint stiffness, or gout, frequent pineapple consumption can quietly intensify pain and swelling. I've seen patients who felt a dull ache in their knees after eating pineapple, others who described sharp pinpricks in their ankles each time they stood up. These reactions often appear subtly, not overnight, but they build up day by day until walking upstairs feels like lifting weights. Another important note, bromelain, the enzyme often praised in pineapple for its anti-inflammatory benefits, can also interfere with certain medications, particularly blood thinners, which many older Britons take after heart or circulation issues. Depending on the individual, bromelain may either amplify or reduce the effect of these drugs. The result? Dangerous imbalances that develop silently long before you notice any visible reaction. So while pineapple looks perfectly innocent, it can quietly contribute to joint discomfort and leg fatigue when eaten without awareness. Of course, I'm not saying you must cut pineapple out completely. Every body is different, and small portions are perfectly fine for most people. But if you've been dealing with unexplained leg pain, swelling, or stiffness that just won't go away, it may be worth pausing that daily pineapple bowl and seeing how your body responds. The most harmful habits are often the ones that feel harmless, just a few slices of fruit each day, slowly adding invisible pressure on your joints and veins. We can't turn back time to move like we did at 30, but we can make smart, gentle changes that protect our independence at 60 and beyond. Sometimes, that change starts with something as simple as rethinking the fruit on your plate. And next, we'll talk about another common favorite in British homes, bananas, and how they too might secretly affect your balance and blood sugar. Good morning, my friends. I'd like to talk today about something that might surprise many of you, a fruit most of us in Britain enjoy every week, especially after breakfast or a walk in the park. It's the banana. You see, in London or Manchester, it's quite common to see people grab a banana before their morning stroll or after a light exercise, thinking it's the perfect way to boost energy and keep muscles strong. And to be fair, that's true for younger bodies that process sugar and potassium efficiently. But as we age, our metabolism slows down and what once was healthy can start to have a very different effect. I remember a lovely lady from Liverpool, Mrs. Elizabeth, who came to see me a few months ago. She was in her late 60s, elegant and disciplined, the kind of person who always eats sensibly and goes for a gentle walk every morning. For years, she began her day with a banana and a cup of green tea, convinced it was the best routine for her heart and digestion. But lately, she told me her legs felt heavy, her calves sore, and climbing the stairs had become a real effort. She thought perhaps it was just aging or a bit of stiffness, but when I asked her more about her daily diet and saw that she had a banana every single morning, I suggested she stop for a week to observe what happens. Just a few days later, she rang me up, surprised. Her legs no longer felt heavy, the aching in her calves had eased, and her movements were lighter. So what was going on? Bananas, though mild and soft, are packed with natural sugars and rapidly digestible starch. In a younger person, insulin regulates that spike smoothly. But after 60, the body's insulin response slows, causing blood sugar to swing more sharply. These fluctuations create low-grade inflammation, especially in areas with weaker circulation like the knees, ankles, and feet. That's why some older adults feel their legs grow tired or their ankles swell slightly after a banana breakfast, though they rarely connect the two. There's another point as well: bananas make the body retain water. The combination of high potassium and natural sugars encourages mild fluid retention, which can make joints feel heavier, especially for those with mild heart or kidney issues. This can explain why some people notice swollen ankles, stiffness in the knees, or a tingling feeling in the toes, particularly later in the day. For those with high blood pressure, mild heart failure, or metabolic issues, eating bananas daily might unintentionally add more strain to the body. And because they're so easy to eat, soft, sweet filling, many people have them every single day, sometimes even replacing breakfast with just a banana. That's when the real risk begins. If eaten on an empty stomach, bananas can cause blood sugar to spike quickly, leaving you tired or lightheaded. And if eaten before bed, the sugars and starch can interfere with the body's natural recovery rhythm, leading to restless sleep or leg cramps during the night. Now, I'm not saying bananas are bad. If your legs feel fine, your blood sugar is stable, and you don't suffer from swelling or stiffness, then one small banana a few times a week is perfectly fine. But for those already noticing leg heaviness or morning stiffness, it may be worth cutting back or switching to something gentler, like a handful of berries or a slice of apple. Sometimes even a small change in breakfast can make our steps lighter, steadier, and our mornings brighter. After we've talked about pineapple and banana, two fruits that seem harmless but can secretly strain our legs, let's move on to another popular favorite in many British homes: grapes. Sweet, juicy, and easy to snack on while watching the evening news or chatting with family, grapes have long been praised for their antioxidants and heart benefits. But for those over 60, they may not be quite the innocent treat we think they are. I once met a lovely woman from Manchester, Mrs. Howard, who came to see me complaining about her right big toe. "It aches badly at night, doctor," she said. "Sometimes I wake up from the pain, and in the morning my calves feel stiff, my ankles a bit swollen, even though I've barely walked." When I asked about her diet, she said, "Oh, nothing special. I just like to have a small bowl of grapes every evening. They are refreshing." And that was the key. Grapes, especially the sweet seedless or red ones, are rich in fructose, a natural fruit sugar that the liver must process. When consumed in excess, particularly over time, the liver struggles to keep up. The unused fructose is then converted into fat and uric acid, a compound that quietly builds up in the joints, especially around the toes, knees, and ankles. This buildup can trigger inflammation and cause the familiar aching, throbbing, or swelling many older adults feel late at night or first thing in the morning. These flare-ups aren't dramatic at first, maybe just a dull ache after a walk or a restless night, but they repeat, slowly worsening until every step feels heavier. Some even find they can't climb the stairs without stopping midway for a rest. What's more, the excess fructose in grapes doesn't only affect the joints, It can also promote low-grade inflammation throughout the body, affecting blood vessels and circulation. As blood flow weakens, joints receive less nourishment and lubrication, making them dry, stiff, and slower to recover after rest. It's not that grapes are bad in themselves, they do have beneficial nutrients, but the problem lies in quantity and timing. A handful after dinner once in a while is perfectly fine, yet when it becomes a nightly habit, a small bowl in front of the television or a box kept on the kitchen counter for just a few more, it can quietly tip the balance. If you've recently noticed your steps feeling heavier, your toes throbbing, or your knees stiff in the morning, try reducing grapes for a few weeks. You may be surprised by how much lighter your legs feel. Replace them with something less sugary, a few slices of apple or a handful of berries which are lower in fructose and kinder to your joints. The truth is, no food is entirely good or bad, it's all about how it fits your age and your body's rhythm. What keeps a younger person strong may not serve an older body the same way. As we age, it's not just about eating healthily, it's about eating wisely. And sometimes that wisdom begins with something as simple as looking at what's in your fruit bowl. You may have noticed this yourself, that moment when you stand up from your chair and your knees feel stiff or your feet ache for no reason. Many older people I meet have the same habit. They love grapes. Because they're small, juicy, and refreshing, you just keep reaching for more without thinking. A handful turns into half a bowl, and before long, your blood sugar quietly climbs without you noticing. For someone already dealing with diabetes, high cholesterol, or mild hypertension, eating grapes too often can accelerate joint problems. Grapes aren't evil, of course, but as we age, our metabolism slows down and our bodies become far more sensitive. The natural sugars in grapes can quickly turn into uric acid, which quietly builds up in the joints and causes swelling and pain. That mild burning sensation in your toe at night, or the ache in your knee when you climb the stairs, may be coming from those innocent-looking little grapes. The danger is that these effects don't happen overnight. They build up slowly over weeks or months, until one day you realize your steps have become heavier and your ankles are swollen. You might blame the weather or your age, never suspecting that your favorite afternoon snack is the real cause. So if you often feel your legs tire easily, your toes ache at night, or your knees feel stiff in the morning, take a look at how many grapes you've been eating. Instead of a full bowl, try just a few or swap them for lower sugar fruits like berries or crisp pears. Choosing the right fruit is a bit like choosing the right medicine. It's not about strict avoidance, but about knowing what your body needs and what it no longer tolerates. As we grow older, every meal we eat should come from understanding, not restriction. It's not about denying yourself pleasure, but about eating wisely with care, balance, and love for your body. Those sweet, gentle grapes, if eaten without limit, can quietly become the reason for heavy legs, sleepless nights, and mornings where your steps no longer feel light. Now that we've talked about grapes, small, sweet, and deceptive, let's move on to another summer favorite that almost everyone in Britain loves: watermelon. On a warm afternoon, nothing feels better than a slice of cold, juicy melon bursting with sweetness. It seems harmless, almost like a glass of natural water. But for older adults, watermelon can actually be a hidden sugar trap. I completely understand why people love it, especially during hot days when even the British sun feels a bit too strong. The cool, crisp sweetness feels refreshing, and since it's low in calories and not heavy, many assume it's perfect for health. But what few people realize is that watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes among fruits. That means when you eat it, your blood sugar spikes almost instantly, just like eating a piece of candy. This becomes risky for anyone over 60 because your body no longer regulates sugar as efficiently as it once did. I once had a gentleman in his mid-60s living in London who started every morning with a plate of fruit, mostly watermelon and banana. He was careful about his meals, didn't smoke, didn't drink, and took regular walks in the park. Yet over time, he began to feel his legs heavy, his calves sore, and his knees stiff whenever he climbed the stairs. Mr. Collins, a retired teacher from Manchester, truly believed he was doing everything right, eating natural foods, walking every morning, and staying away from heavy meals. But over time, he began to notice something strange. His legs felt tired just a few minutes into his morning walk. His ankles started to swell slightly, and his knees felt stiff whenever he stood up. He assumed it was just age or the damp British weather. But when we looked into his diet, we found the real culprit: the large bowl of watermelon he had every day after breakfast. Once he cut it down, those symptoms began to fade. So what actually happens inside your body when you eat watermelon? When you take a few bites, the natural sugars from the fruit are absorbed into your bloodstream almost instantly, triggering a release of insulin. But for people over 60, insulin doesn't work as efficiently as it used to, leaving excess sugar circulating in the blood. This can quietly trigger inflammation, especially in areas where circulation is weaker, like your calves, knees, and ankles. That's why you may start to feel your legs heavy, your knees aching, or your feet stiff after a short walk. Some even describe a cold, tight sensation around the knees when climbing stairs. And because watermelon is over 90% water, it's incredibly easy to overeat without realizing it. A slice turns into half the fruit, and before you know it, your blood sugar spikes and then crashes, leaving you tired, weak, and aching in your legs and feet. For those with diabetes, high cholesterol, or heart issues, watermelon can act like a silent trickster. It feels light and refreshing, but inside it quietly raises blood sugar and inflammation, making it harder for blood to circulate through the lower limbs. I've also met quite a few older adults in London who replace water with watermelon juice during warm days, but the water in watermelon isn't pure hydration. It's sugar water, and that's what strains your joints and circulation. So what should you do? You don't need to give it up completely. If you used to eat half a melon a day, try just a few slices after a proper meal, never on an empty stomach or as a meal replacement. And if you notice your legs feeling heavy or your knees sore after eating watermelon, try stopping for a few days and see if your body feels lighter. Instead, go for fruits with lower sugar levels and better fiber, like blueberries, pears, or a ripe papaya if you can find it. They're gentle on the stomach and won't send your blood sugar soaring. When we're young, we can eat almost anything that tastes good. But as we grow older, every bite becomes a choice that shapes how we feel. Sometimes that sweet, cool slice of melon carries more than just summer refreshment. It carries a quiet weight that your knees and ankles must bear. Aging well isn't about strict rules or giving up pleasure. It's about listening to your body and understanding that what once helped you may no longer serve you. And sometimes, just skipping a few extra bites of watermelon can make your steps lighter, your mornings easier, and your spirit calmer. Now that we've uncovered the hidden truth behind watermelon, a fruit that feels like pure water but hides a sharp sweetness, let's move on to the fifth fruit, one that fills nearly every British breakfast table, praised for boosting immunity and brightening the day, the orange. Yes, I'm talking about the orange, a fruit that seems so friendly and innocent, yet if used the wrong way can quietly attack your joints. I know this may sound surprising. After all, we've been told since childhood that oranges are good for you, full of vitamin C, great for your immune system, and wonderful for your skin. And that's all true, but it's not the full story, especially once you're past 60. You see, the body changes with age. Every organ slows down, becomes more sensitive, and that includes your joints and the tiny blood vessels that keep them nourished. I remember Mrs. Harris, a 72-year-old lady from Birmingham who started every morning with a glass of fresh orange juice and a spoonful of honey. It was her daily ritual. She said it helped her feel youthful and kept her joints healthy. But recently she came to see me, complaining that her knees had become stiff every morning, her hips ached slightly, and her joints made soft cracking sounds when she moved. At first, she thought it was the cold weather or her sleeping posture. But when we looked closely, the real issue turned out to be that innocent glass of orange juice. Oranges, especially when juiced, contain a high level of citric acid. Though it tastes fresh and pleasant, that acid can irritate soft tissue once it enters the bloodstream, particularly in those who already have mild inflammation or early joint degeneration. The knees, hips, and ankles, the joints that carry most of your body weight, are often the first to react. You might not see swelling, but you'll start to feel stiffness after sitting too long or mild pain when you first get out of bed. On top of that, oranges still contain natural sugars, fructose and glucose. And when combined with acid, these sugars can cause your blood sugar levels to fluctuate sharply. Because insulin sensitivity decreases with age, your body can't always balance it quickly enough, leading to subtle inflammation throughout the body. It's not dramatic, no redness or visible swelling, just that dull, nagging ache you can't quite explain. There's another common mistake I see in Britain. Many older people drink orange juice first thing in the morning, before breakfast. But on an empty stomach, your digestive system is still delicate, and the acid from orange juice can easily irritate it. What's worse, once that acid enters your bloodstream, it can aggravate areas already suffering from chronic inflammation, like the knees or hips, causing mild swelling or sharp morning pain. I've seen plenty of older patients who couldn't figure out why their legs felt heavy or their joints ached even when they hadn't done much. After a bit of questioning, it turned out they were drinking orange juice daily. Some even sipped it throughout the day instead of water. That constant exposure kept their joints inflamed, never giving them a chance to recover. Over time, stiffness worsened and walking upstairs became painful. It's a shame. Really, oranges look so pure and healthy, their color bright and cheerful, their scent refreshing. People often gift them when visiting someone ill, thinking they're giving a symbol of good health. But for seniors, true health isn't about how natural something is or how much vitamin C it contains. It's about whether it suits your body as it is now. So what should you do? If you have no joint issues and your body feels fine, you can still enjoy oranges, but in moderation. 2 or 3 small segments at a time are enough. Avoid frequent glasses of orange juice and never drink it on an empty stomach. But if lately you've noticed your knees stiff in the morning, your hips aching after sitting, or your legs heavy even after rest, it might be time to ease back on the oranges. Many of my older patients in Britain believe that a green apple is the perfect snack, crisp, clean, and healthy. It looks simple, natural, even innocent. You'll often see people in Manchester or London nibbling on one during their morning walk or slicing it into a bowl of porridge, thinking they are doing their health a favor. But today I'd like to tell you that this little green fruit, the one we all associate with freshness, might not be as harmless as it seems, especially after 60. I've met plenty of people who prefer green apples to red ones because they're less sweet, lighter, and feel cleaner. Some even replace breakfast with a green apple or eat one before bed to stay slim. But with my 20 years of experience as a doctor, I've seen the other side. Many of these same people come to me later, complaining of hip stiffness, knee pain, or sudden cramps at night without understanding why. One of my patients, Mr. Carlins, a tall, energetic man in his early 60s from Liverpool, loved sports and swore by his healthy routine. Every evening before bed, he'd eat one green apple instead of dessert. But over the months, he began waking up in the middle of the night with painful cramps in his calves. His knees grew stiff in the morning and climbing stairs became slow and heavy. He thought it was a calcium issue or simply aging, but when we looked deeper, the real culprit was that single apple before bedtime. You see, green apples contain something called malic acid, the compound that gives them their crisp, tart flavor. For younger people, malic acid can help digestion. But as we age, the stomach lining becomes thinner, and the body processes acids less efficiently. That same acid, once it enters the bloodstream, can irritate soft tissue and worsen hidden inflammation in the joints, especially around the knees, hips, or ankles. If you've ever felt a dull ache in your hips, a burning sensation in your calves, or warmth in the soles of your feet an hour or two after eating a green apple, that's your body speaking. And while green apples taste less sweet than red ones, they still contain a fair amount of natural sugar. Because they're often eaten raw with the skin on, that sugar is absorbed quickly, especially if eaten on an empty stomach or right before bed. For seniors whose insulin response slows with age, that rapid sugar spike can cause fluctuations in blood flow and circulation. The result: heavy legs, restless calves, or those sudden sharp night cramps that jolt you awake. Another problem is that green apples don't make you feel full. They're light, crisp, and refreshing, which means it's easy to overeat them. 2, 3, even 4 apples a day can quietly overwhelm your body with acid and sugar without you noticing. So if you've been waking up with stiff knees, aching hips, or frequent leg cramps, it might be time to look at that innocent green apple sitting on your counter. Many people here in Britain like to keep sliced fruit in the fridge, easy to grab, easy to snack on. But what they don't realize is that nibbling on a few pieces here and there throughout the day can quietly add up, sometimes the equivalent of 2 large green apples without noticing. And that's how acid and sugar begin to build up slowly, affecting the joints and leg muscles day by day. For those already taking medication for arthritis or muscle stiffness, green apples can even interfere with how your medicine works. The acid in apples can block the absorption of certain drugs, reducing their effect without any obvious warning signs. So what can you do? If you enjoy apples, choose ripe red ones instead. They're naturally sweeter, less acidic, and far gentler on the stomach and joints. Eat them during the day, ideally after a meal, and try to avoid green apples, especially on an empty stomach or late at night. And if lately you've been waking up with stiff knees, tight calves, or nighttime cramps, try cutting out green apples for a week and see how your body responds. Many of my patients are surprised, their sleep deepens, their legs feel lighter, and that dragging heaviness in the morning fades away. The truth is, not everything that tastes crisp and healthy is safe for everyone. Age teaches us an important lesson. Real health means listening closely to our bodies, not just following what's trendy or advertised. A green apple might look wholesome, but eaten the wrong way, it can quietly drain your strength one night at a time. And now, after talking about apples, oranges, and watermelon, fruits we've long considered harmless, let's move on to one that's perhaps even more beloved here in Britain during the warmer months, the mango. Yes, that bright golden fruit that feels like summer in your hands. People adore it, soft, fragrant, naturally sweet. Some prefer it ripe and juicy, others like it slightly tart, blended into smoothies or served with yogurt after dinner. But very few realize that mango is in truth a sugar bomb that our aging joints struggle to handle. One of my patients, Mrs. Harris, a lively woman in her mid-60s from Bristol, still enjoys cooking and walking to the local market every day. Yet recently she noticed that by late afternoon her knees felt sore, her calves heavy, and her toes sometimes tingled or burned slightly at night. She assumed it was just age catching up until I asked about her diet. Turned out every evening she enjoyed half a ripe mango because it was refreshing and light. But that half mango, sweet as honey, contained almost as much sugar as a full tablespoon of syrup. For a younger body, that's not much trouble. But after 60, the body's insulin response slows down. The sugar stays in the bloodstream longer, fueling silent inflammation. And where does it strike first? The knees, the ankles, the hips. Those dull aches when you stand up, the swelling around your ankles in the evening, the feeling that your legs are heavier than they used to be, those are the warning signs of sugar quietly attacking your joints. And because mango feels soft, juicy, and innocent, it's easy to overeat. Half today, half tomorrow, and before you know it, the body's struggling to keep up. So if you love mango, don't cut it out completely, just enjoy it wisely. A few small slices after lunch, not on an empty stomach and not every day. Your joints will thank you. Growing older doesn't mean giving up the foods we love, it means understanding them better. Sometimes protecting your legs and keeping your steps light isn't about medicine or supplements at all. It's simply about knowing when enough is enough, even with something as sweet as a mango. Many older Britons I've met have a fondness for mango, soft, fragrant, and full of sunshine. It feels like a little luxury at the end of a quiet afternoon. But for those who live with nerve issues such as long-term diabetes or tingling in the feet, mango can sometimes make things worse, causing that burning sensation in the toes or the strange feeling of warmth inside but cold on the surface. That isn't a coincidence. It's the effect of blood sugar spiking after eating fruit that's simply too sweet for an aging metabolism. When glucose rises sharply, it puts pressure on the small blood vessels that feed the nerves and joints in your legs. Over time, those vessels become inflamed, circulation slows, and the body starts to speak through stiffness, swelling, or that dull, aching fatigue in your calves and knees. Mango feels light, almost harmless. It doesn't make you feel full or heavy, but that's exactly the danger. It's easy to eat too much without noticing. A few slices here, half a fruit there, and soon the body is processing more sugar than it can safely handle. Day by day, that sweetness turns into inflammation, the kind that doesn't shout but quietly steals the ease from your steps. I've met many seniors who told me proudly, "Doctor, I only eat natural food." And yes, nature gives us wonderful things, but natural doesn't always mean safe. After 60, every body has its own rhythm. What once healed can now harm if we don't listen carefully. So if you love mango, don't give it up completely, just enjoy it wisely. 1 or 2 small slices a couple of times a week after a proper meal, never on an empty stomach. And if you've noticed your knees aching more lately or your feet feeling heavy for no clear reason, try taking a short break from mango for 10 days. You might be surprised at how much lighter you feel. Growing older isn't about giving up the foods we love, it's about learning which ones truly love us back. Mango may be sweet and gentle, but when eaten the wrong way, it becomes a quiet sugar bomb, slowly wearing down your joints day after day. And now, as we've traveled through this journey from pineapple and banana to grapes, watermelon, oranges, green apples, and mango, I hope you see one simple truth. Even the kindest fruits can turn unkind if we forget that our bodies change with time. These fruits don't harm overnight. They whisper through swollen ankles, stiff knees, or tired legs, and by the time we notice, they've been speaking for months. My wish for you isn't to fear your food, but to understand it, to take gentle control of your choices. Growing older is not about restriction, it's about wisdom. When you listen to your body and choose mindfully, every meal becomes a way to care for yourself, to keep your legs strong, your mornings light, and your spirit peaceful. So perhaps tomorrow, instead of that extra slice of mango or banana, reach for a handful of berries, blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries. They're rich in antioxidants, low in sugar, and kind to your joints. Small swaps like these may not seem like much, but each mindful choice is a step, a quiet, steady step, toward keeping your freedom, your strength, and your joy in every walk you take. My dear friends, after we've explored the 7 types of fruits that people over 60 should be careful with, many of my patients often ask me the same question. Dr. Carter, then what should I eat to keep my knees strong and my legs steady? That question always touches me deeply. It's not just curiosity, it's hope. Hope to stay independent, to walk freely, to enjoy life without needing help each time they stand up or climb the stairs. So today, I'd like to share something more uplifting, the fruits that truly nourish your joints and bring lightness back to your steps. Let's begin with one of the most powerful and underrated groups, berries. Yes, the small, colorful treasures of nature like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and even strawberries. They may look delicate, but they carry remarkable anti-inflammatory power. Unlike tropical fruits that send blood sugar soaring, berries have a naturally low glycemic index. That means they release energy slowly, helping to stabilize blood sugar and reduce the silent inflammation that so often settles in the knees, ankles, and hips of older adults. I once met a gentleman in his late 60s from Manchester, a retired teacher who loved long walks in the park but had started to feel a strange heaviness in his legs. He wasn't diabetic and kept a fairly healthy diet, yet every time he went shopping, he had to pause a few times just to rest his calves. After reviewing his meals, I asked him to cut back on overly sweet fruits like mangoes and bananas and replace them with a small handful of blueberries each morning. 3 weeks later, he returned with a bright smile and said, "Doctor, I don't know if it's your magic berries, but I feel lighter. My knees don't ache when I get up anymore." That's not magic, that's science. Berries are rich in anthocyanins, powerful natural compounds that protect small blood vessels, especially in the legs, where circulation tends to slow with age. When those vessels stay healthy, oxygen and nutrients can flow freely to your joints, easing stiffness and soreness. Berries are also full of flavonoids, antioxidants that slow joint aging and help the cartilage stay elastic. For seniors, this means less grinding, less pain, and smoother movement, especially in weight-bearing areas like the knees, ankles, and hips. And the best part, they are wonderfully easy to include in your diet. You can add a handful to your morning porridge, mix them with plain yogurt, sprinkle them on a slice of whole grain toast with almond butter, or blend them into a light smoothie after your walk. All it takes is about 30 to 50 grams a day, roughly one small handful, to bring real change. Reduced inflammation, steadier energy, and easier mornings. One of my older patients, Mrs. Thompson from London, used to experience mild ankle swelling every evening despite eating carefully. I suggested she swap her usual afternoon orange for a few blackberries with a spoonful of Greek yogurt and a few sliced almonds. After just 2 weeks, she rang my clinic, delighted. "Doctor, I can't believe it. My ankles aren't swollen anymore and my legs feel lighter." That's the quiet beauty of berries, gentle yet transformative. They don't just protect your joints, they also help sharpen memory and improve sleep, 2 things we often overlook but dearly need as we age. The Healing Fruits for British Seniors, Part 2, The Power of Cherries. My dear friends, thanks to the powerful antioxidants found in berries, blood circulation to the brain and legs can improve remarkably. That's why so many of my patients tell me they sleep better, wake up feeling fresher, and even think more clearly after adding a small handful of berries to their breakfast. You see, eating fruit isn't just about flavor, it's a quiet act of healing. Berries, when eaten in their natural form, don't spike your blood sugar, don't trigger inflammation, and help protect your heart, joints, and even the tiny blood vessels that keep your legs strong. Just remember, always choose fresh, unsweetened berries. Avoid those packed in syrup or covered in sugar. If fresh berries aren't available, frozen ones from a trusted British brand are perfectly fine. Just defrost them naturally and enjoy. And as I always remind my patients here in Manchester, every body is different. Start small, perhaps 5 to 10 berries a day, and listen to how your body responds. If you feel your legs less heavy, your knees less stiff, and your mornings brighter, that's your body's way of saying thank you. Often the simplest foods are the most powerful. These little berries don't boast or sparkle, yet they quietly help your body repair itself each day. So next time you're in the market or the local grocer, give a small place in your basket to blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries. You don't need many, just consistency and mindfulness. Over time, they'll reward you with stronger joints, deeper sleep, and a calmer, clearer mind. And speaking of powerful little fruits, let's move to another British favorite, the cherry. You might know it as the bright red jewel that decorates your puddings or fruit tarts, but few people realize how healing cherries can be, especially for older adults. Particularly sour cherries, or what we call Montmorency cherries, are nature's gentle remedy for joint pain and high uric acid. Scientific research from the University of Northumbria found that cherry juice can significantly lower uric acid levels and reduce gout flare-ups. In fact, one large study involving over 600 gout patients discovered that those who ate cherries over a 2-day period had a 35% lower risk of flare-ups. And when combined with standard gout medication, that risk dropped by an incredible 75%. Why are cherries so helpful for seniors? They contain a natural pigment called anthocyanin, which fights inflammation and helps protect the cartilage in your knees, ankles, and hips. They also gently stabilize blood sugar, support sleep through natural melatonin, and reduce oxidative stress in the muscles and joints. I remember one of my older patients, Mrs. Howard, a 70-year-old retired florist from Liverpool. She suffered from recurring gout attacks that made walking unbearable. Even her soft slippers felt painful. She told me, "Doctor, I'm tired of painkillers. I just want to walk to my garden again." So I suggested she try drinking a small glass of pure tart cherry juice each day, alongside her usual medication. Within 3 weeks, she came back smiling. "My toes aren't burning anymore, and I've been tending to my roses again." That's the quiet power of cherries, not a miracle, but a partnership between nature and patience. So my friends, if you're over 60 and often feel dull pain in your joints, a little stiffness in the morning, or occasional swelling around your ankles, try adding a few fresh cherries or a small cup of unsweetened cherry juice to your routine. Avoid those sugary preserved cherries. They are for cakes, not healing. Nature's remedies don't need grand promises. Just a small act of care each day, a few berries, a handful of cherries, a gentle walk in the garden, and your body will remember how to move with ease again. The gentle British superfoods for aging joints, Part 3, from cherries to avocado. When I last spoke about cherries, I mentioned how something so small and sweet could make such a remarkable difference for our joints. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Hughes, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Liverpool. For years, he struggled with gout and swelling around his ankles. Pain would wake him up at night, and even walking down to his garden became a challenge. He decided to try something simple, just 10 to 15 fresh cherries each day, no expectations. 3 weeks later, he came back smiling. "The pain's gone, doctor. I'm walking again, even tending to the roses." It wasn't magic, it was consistency. Those little red fruits quietly helped his body reduce uric acid and calm inflammation. Of course, cherries are not a substitute for medication. If you're taking prescription gout or arthritis treatments, they work best together, not in competition. In fact, studies from British and European arthritis associations show that combining cherries with uric acid-lowering drugs like allopurinol can improve results by up to 75%. So if you'd like to try this at home, aim for 10 to 20 fresh cherries or one small glass of pure unsweetened cherry juice each day. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, always pair them with your main meal to slow sugar absorption. And please avoid those syrupy tin cherries you see in dessert aisles. They belong in puddings, not on your health plan. Cherry juice not only helps joints, it can also improve sleep, thanks to its natural melatonin, and support memory and heart function with antioxidants that enhance circulation. Now let's move on to another quiet hero in the British kitchen, one that might surprise you, the avocado. Unlike other fruits, the avocado is rich in healthy fats, particularly oleic acid, a type of monounsaturated fat also found in olive oil. This fat doesn't make you gain weight, it does quite the opposite. It helps reduce inflammation, stabilizes cholesterol, and improves blood flow, all essential for healthy knees and flexible joints. For many older adults here in the UK, the lack of healthy fats is a hidden problem. It can lead to stiffer knees, slower circulation, and even unstable blood sugar. I remember a patient, Mr. Thompson, aged 68, from the outskirts of Manchester. He was fit and active, went for morning walks around Heaton Park every day. But lately, he complained of a dull heaviness in his knees and calves, especially in the afternoons. He described it perfectly. "Doctor, it feels like someone's tied a small stone to my joints." After reviewing his diet, I noticed something common. He ate plenty of sweet fruits like bananas and mangoes and drank orange juice daily, thinking it was healthy. I suggested a small change. Replace the sugary fruits with half an avocado a day, around 15–20 grams, mixed into porridge, spread on toast, or added to his salad. The result? Just 1 week later, he came back saying, "My legs feel lighter. I can climb the stairs without stopping halfway." That's the beauty of nature's design: quiet, simple, and restorative. Avocados provide vitamin E, potassium, and good fats that keep our joints supple and protect the cartilage from wear and tear. They also support heart health and blood pressure, two things directly linked to how strong and steady our legs feel each morning. So, my dear friends, as you sip your tea or prepare your next meal, think of this small but powerful swap. A few cherries in the morning, a little avocado at lunch, and your joints will thank you one gentle step at a time. After just a month, one of my patients, Mrs. Collins, told me, "Doctor, I haven't changed any of my medication, but somehow my knees feel calmer, less stiff, less sore." That's the quiet power of the avocado, a humble fruit that hides more healing than meets the eye. Avocados contain phytosterols and polyphenols, natural compounds that help suppress inflammation in the joints. When eaten regularly and correctly, they settle gently into the tissues around the knees, reducing swelling and easing movement. They also help balance blood sugar. The healthy fats in avocado slow the absorption of sugars from meals, preventing the sharp glucose spikes that often trigger hidden inflammation and fatigue in older adults. Unlike sugary fruits like mangoes or bananas, avocado provides steady, calm energy, keeping both joints and blood vessels stable. Rich in vitamin E and natural plant oils, it supports the delicate blood vessels in the legs, improving elasticity and circulation, reducing ankle puffiness, and helping your steps feel lighter by the end of the day. And there's one more gift. Because it keeps you full for longer. It gently reduces cravings for sweet snacks that often sneak extra sugar into your day. So how can you make the most of it? Here's how I usually suggest my patients in Manchester enjoy it. At breakfast, a few slices of avocado with unsweetened porridge or whole grain toast keeps your morning sugar stable and cravings away. At lunch, mash half an avocado into a green salad with chicken or fish. It boosts anti-inflammatory fats and helps absorb nutrients from vegetables. In the afternoon, try a small baked sweet potato topped with a spoon of avocado. It satisfies the palate without raising your blood sugar. At dinner, blend a little into a light vegetable soup or pair it with soft cheese. It helps your blood sugar stay balanced overnight for better sleep. For older adults, choose avocados that are just ripe, not too soft or brown inside, and stick to about 10–20 grams a day, roughly 1 to 2 small spoonfuls. If you're taking anti-inflammatory or heart medication, check with your GP before making it a daily habit. When used right, avocado isn't a trend, it's a quiet act of care for the aging body. It doesn't spike blood sugar, it softens your joints, calms inflammation, and nourishes the vessels that carry strength to your legs. Add just 1 slice a day, and over time your knees will feel easier, your steps lighter, and your mornings brighter. Because health after 60 isn't about restriction, it's about choosing wisely and loving yourself through small, gentle changes. And now, let me take you to something softer, familiar, sweet, yet deeply healing. A fruit that's as comforting as a warm summer breeze in Brighton, the papaya. Mild, fragrant, and easy to digest, it can become a true ally for the older body, helping the gut, easing inflammation, and keeping the legs strong and steady well into your golden years. Herb Next postcard, papaya, the gentle fruit for restoring balance after 60. Papaya, the gentle fruit that heals from within. My dear friends, the papaya, soft, golden and mellow, might look like nothing more than a sweet summer treat. But inside that tender flesh lies something quietly powerful. Papain, a natural enzyme that helps your body digest and heal itself, especially after 60. For many of my older patients here in Liverpool, even a light meal can sometimes feel heavy, that bloated, slow-to-digest feeling that lingers through the afternoon. Just a few slices of ripe papaya after breakfast or lunch can change that. Papain gently breaks down proteins, easing the work of your stomach and helping you feel lighter, calmer, and more comfortable after meals. Why is papaya so good for seniors? Because it doesn't just support digestion, it also soothes the body in deeper ways. Papaya contains lycopene and vitamins A and C, powerful antioxidants that help calm inflammation and protect joint tissues. These compounds lower the activity of hidden inflammatory signals like TNF-alpha and IL-6, the same ones that cause those dull aches in the knees, ankles, and calves many people over 60 know too well. And there's another gift, papaya's low glycemic index and natural fiber. That means its sugars are released slowly, keeping blood glucose steady instead of causing sharp spikes like mango or fruit juices often do. For anyone managing prediabetes or simply trying to protect their energy and circulation, that's a blessing. I remember Mrs. Harris, a 70-year-old lady from Liverpool, who told me, "Doctor, even a small sandwich makes me feel full for hours." We added just 2 or 3 slices of ripe papaya to her late morning meal. Within 5 days, she said her stomach felt lighter, digestion easier, and food more enjoyable again. Then there was Mr. Thompson, 65, who often had mild ankle swelling by evening. He started eating a slice of papaya after lunch and doing light leg stretches. 2 weeks later, he smiled and said, "My feet feel freer now, like the heaviness has gone." And Mrs. Bennett, who struggled with sleepless nights and morning fatigue, found that a small serving of papaya and a bit of avocado in the afternoon helped her sleep more deeply and wake with energy. Her legs no longer heavy when she got out of bed. So what's happening inside the body? Papain helps digest protein more efficiently and reduces leftover inflammation in soft tissues like ligaments and muscles. It also activates AMP, a key metabolic pathway that stabilizes blood sugar, lowers chronic inflammation, and supports healthy circulation. Meanwhile, lycopene and vitamin C protect the inner lining of blood vessels, keeping them supple so oxygen and nutrients flow easily to the legs, easing stiffness and swelling. And let's not forget the gentle fiber in papaya. It improves bowel movement and prevents that sluggish feeling many older adults quietly endure. So yes, my friends, the papaya is more than just a sweet fruit. It's a daily act of care, soft, humble, and deeply healing. A few slices each day after a meal can support your digestion, calm inflammation, and make each step lighter. Because aging gracefully isn't about eating less, it's about eating wisely, listening to your body and choosing foods that love you back. And in that journey, a simple papaya might just become one of your best companions. Next postcard, Papaya and Morning Balance, how simple fruits keep Britain's seniors moving freely. Pears, the calm, gentle fruit for senior balance. My dear friends, papaya may soothe the stomach and calm the joints, but today I'd like to share with you another quiet companion for good health, the humble pear. In Manchester, where the mornings are often cool and a cup of warm tea feels like comfort itself, many of my older patients have found that a few slices of ripe pear can bring surprising balance to their digestion, their joints, and even their sleep. Let's talk about how to use it wisely. Right after breakfast, enjoy 3 or 4 thin slices of ripe pear with a little plain yogurt. It supports digestion, gives light energy, and keeps your blood sugar steady. Mid-morning, when you need something gentle, 1 slice of pear will lift your energy without a sugar rush. After lunch, try pairing pear with a spoonful of mashed avocado. It eases inflammation and supports smooth circulation. And before bed, a few slices of soft, sweet pear can calm your body, preparing it for a deep, peaceful night's sleep. But choose your pear carefully, not too hard, not overripe. A small or medium fruit, about 100 to 150 grams a day, is enough. If you're just starting, begin with 2 or 3 times a week. Listen to your body and increase slowly. Those who take medication for digestion or arthritis should, of course, check with their doctor first, though pears are wonderfully kind to the stomach. So what are the gentle benefits? First, better digestion. Pears contain pectin, a soluble fiber that helps your stomach work more efficiently, prevents bloating, and keeps your gut light and active. They're also rich in water, about 85 to 90%, helping prevent constipation and easing mild fluid retention that often causes heaviness in the legs and ankles. Second, natural anti-inflammatory support. Pears are low in sugar but high in antioxidants, helping joints like the knees and ankles stay supple. Their slow sugar release avoids blood sugar spikes, unlike mangoes, grapes, or melons, keeping inflammation at bay and joints feeling calmer. Third, better circulation and lighter legs. For seniors who often feel heaviness or swelling around the calves by evening, a few slices of pear after meals can make a noticeable difference within days. I once had a patient, Mr. Allen, 72, who said, "Doctor, my ankles feel less puffy and my legs don't ache when I climb the stairs anymore." That's the quiet work of nature, nothing dramatic but deeply healing. And finally, better sleep and mood. When digestion flows easily and blood sugar stays balanced, the body rests more peacefully. Many of my older patients in Liverpool tell me they sleep more soundly after adding a small serving of pear and a spoon of oats or chia seeds in the evening. So my friends, the pear may look modest, but it carries grace. It's simple like a cup of warm herbal tea, gentle, soothing, yet powerful in its own way. Each slice whispers calm into the body, softening inflammation, lightening the legs, and steadying the mind. Growing older doesn't mean giving up what you love, it means choosing more wisely. A light breakfast tea, a slice of pear, a bit of avocado, a few berries. These are small but meaningful acts of care for your heart and your freedom. And tomorrow I'll share another story with you, one about a fruit often seen as just dessert, but which holds a secret key to stronger circulation and steadier steps. Herb Next postcard, apple, the everyday British fruit that keeps joints moving freely. Pears, gentle energy for stronger joints. My dear friends, let's talk about one more secret of the pear, its quiet power to give you steady energy without stressing your blood sugar or joints. Unlike sugary fruits that push your insulin to work harder, pears release their sweetness slowly, giving your muscles and cartilage just what they need, a calm stream of fuel, not a sudden rush. When your knees aren't reacting to sugar spikes, that heavy, tired feeling in your legs fades little by little. I remember Mrs. Carlins, 72, from Manchester, who told me her feet always felt heavy after lunch, almost as if she were wearing small weights around her ankles. She drank plenty of water, but nothing helped. I asked her to swap her afternoon orange for a few slices of ripe pear, and within a week she returned smiling, saying, "My legs feel light again, doctor, like I've taken the stones off." That's the gentle magic of pears, improving circulation and reducing swelling naturally. Then there's Mr. Edwards, 68, who had mild prediabetes. His blood sugar often spiked after eating sweet fruits like banana or mango. When he switched to a medium pear after lunch, his glucose readings stayed stable from an average swing of 1.4 down to 1 mmol/L. He said he could climb a few steps each morning without feeling dizzy or fatigued. And Mrs. Turner, 70, used to feel bloated after meals and often lost her appetite. After a few days of having pear slices in the morning instead of sugary fruit, she said, "Doctor, my stomach feels lighter, food tastes better, and I can walk more comfortably." It's a small shift, but one that makes a remarkable difference. Gentle fibers and antioxidants in the pear restore smooth digestion and calm the body's inflammation. Pear, the science behind the pear. Pears have a low glycemic index, 3842, meaning they raise blood sugar slowly and steadily. The natural fructose is balanced by pectin, a soluble fiber that absorbs water in the gut, supports healthy digestion, softens stool, and eases pressure on circulation. Vitamin C and polyphenols in pears act as mild anti-inflammatories, helping to protect joint tissues and the tiny blood vessels that feed your legs and feet. Because pears are high in water and low in calories, they hydrate the body while satisfying mild hunger, making them ideal for seniors who want gentle nourishment without sugar overload. Fork and knife with plate suggested routine. Time of day, how to enjoy pears, key benefit. After breakfast, a half small pear or 4-5 slices with plain yogurt, smooth digestion, steady energy. Mid-morning, a few fresh slices prevent sugar cravings. After lunch, one small ripe pear, gentle on the stomach, light on the joints. Before bed, 3-4 thin slices, 30 minutes before sleep, stable blood sugar, calmer sleep. Choose pears that are ripe but firm without soft spots. Peel them lightly if the skin might contain preservatives. Limit intake to about 100–150 g per day, roughly one small pear. Start with twice a week. If your digestion and energy improve, you can gradually increase within moderation. Herb the long-term gift. When eaten regularly but wisely, pears stabilize blood sugar gently, reduce mild joint inflammation, ease swelling in ankles and calves, improve digestion and reduce bloating, provide light, lasting energy for active days, and most importantly, they help your legs feel lighter, your steps steadier, and your mornings calmer. Aging gracefully isn't about restriction. It's about listening to your body and choosing what truly nourishes it. A warm cup of tea in the morning, a few slices of pear, a touch of avocado or berries, small thoughtful choices that build resilience one day at a time. Next time, I'll share with you another simple British fruit that hides an even greater secret for circulation and strength. The apple, our humble daily friend that keeps the body walking freely. The gentle fruits of longevity. My dear friends, pears may not look glamorous like tropical imports or the so-called superfruits you see in glossy London markets, but they are calm, tender, and beautifully in tune with the needs of our bodies, especially in our golden years. They don't spike your blood sugar, they soothe digestion, support circulation, and keep your joints relaxed. A few slices of pear each day may sound simple, but over time, your body will feel lighter, your steps steadier, and your heart more at peace. Growing older doesn't mean slowing down, it means living with greater intention. Take a perfectly ripe pear, enjoy it slowly, as you would a quiet cup of English tea on a cool afternoon. In that moment, you are caring for your heart and your legs in the most thoughtful way. I'm Dr. Andrew Carlins, writing these lines to share what decades of experience with older patients across Manchester have taught me, that small choices can restore the strength and freedom in one's stride. Today, instead of talking about single fruits, I'd like us to pause and reflect on a few timeless lessons, truths that go beyond nutrition and reach into the art of living well. Lesson 1: listen to your body more than any advice. Your body is the most honest friend you'll ever have. It doesn't speak in words, but through gentle signs: fatigue, heaviness, stiffness. I've met so many men and women in their 60s and 70s who ignored those quiet warnings until pain forced them to stop. Often, all it took was a small change, reducing pineapple, banana, or mango, and suddenly the legs felt lighter, sleep came easier, and peace returned. So please love your body by listening to it each day. Adjust early and gently. There are no perfect foods, only foods that fit your body best. Lesson 2: choose what suits you, not what's trending. Blueberries, cherries, papaya, avocado, pears. Each fruit has its strengths, but not every fruit suits everyone. I've seen people who ate mango or banana every day thinking it was healthy, only to discover those were the hidden reasons behind their aching knees and heavy legs. True wisdom is not following trends, but choosing what truly fits your own body. Lesson 3: eat mindfully, not excessively. In later life, nourishment is about quality, not quantity. You don't need strict diets, just gentle balance. A few berries, a thin slice of avocado, a few cubes of papaya, or half a pear are often enough to make a real difference. These small bites can quietly reduce inflammation, balance blood sugar, ease circulation, and keep the joints supple. Happiness at our age doesn't come from eating much, but from knowing what to eat and when. That's why I often tell my patients, eat less but eat wisely. Lesson 4: natural foods are the gentlest medicine. Fruits like cherries, berries, papaya, avocado, and pears are what I call nature's quiet healers. They don't replace medical treatment, but they strengthen it, helping the body recover in a calm, sustainable way. Those who once struggled with swollen ankles, gout, or knee stiffness found that a handful of cherries or a few berries each day soothed their symptoms without side effects. All thanks to nature's simple gifts: antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, and steady, balanced sugars. So, my dear friends, remember this: healing doesn't always come from a pill. Sometimes it begins with something as humble as a pear shared at breakfast, and the choice to care for your body one mindful bite at a time. Your feet, your freedom. My dear friends, the fourth message I want to share today is this: become your own gentle doctor. Learn to choose foods that quietly heal, not through drastic change, but through steady care. Over the years, I've seen many people in their 60s and 70s rush into new diets. 1 week, they cut out bananas completely. The next, they drink tart cherry juice 3 times a day, and soon after they feel unwell, confused, and give up halfway. But those who start slowly, adding one new fruit a week, paying attention to how their body responds, are the ones who truly see lasting results. It's a lesson in patience and consistency, because healing, especially in later life, is not about speed, it's about rhythm and balance. Aging doesn't mean weakness. I've met gentlemen in Manchester in their 70s who still walk 3 miles each morning through the park. No cane, no limp, no pain. When I tell this story, people often smile and ask, is that really possible at our age? And I always say, yes, if you care for your body the right way. Old age, when respected and nourished, can be a time of quiet strength, clear mind, and steady steps. I've seen elderly couples tending their gardens in Liverpool, or strolling hand in hand through Hyde Park well into their 80s. They are living proof that with gentle care, age can still carry power, not fragility. So no, I don't want you to live under strict rules or fear. Enjoy a slice of mango if you love it, or a banana now and then, just do so with awareness and balance. It's not about banning foods, but about listening to your body and adjusting gently when something no longer serves you. Our bodies are intelligent systems. They whisper before they shout. A bit of swelling, a little heaviness in the knees, that's your body saying, please be kind to me. When you listen, you protect your freedom, because every step you take is a symbol of independence. That's my final and most heartfelt message for you. Cherish your feet. They are the roots of your freedom. As long as you can walk steadily, you remain the master of your life. So nourish those feet with the gentlest gifts of nature. A handful of berries for circulation, a few slices of pear for hydration, a few cherries for your joints, a little papaya for digestion, and a spoonful of avocado for calm strength. If you trust the process, your body will thank you quietly each morning, with lighter steps, easier movement, and a sense of calm that starts from the ground up. Growing older is not the end. It's a chance to live more clearly, to choose more wisely, and to love yourself in new ways. You don't need grand gestures, just one thoughtful choice each day, because sometimes that single slice of fruit is all it takes to bring lightness to your heart, your joints, and your mind. If you ever wish, I'll be here to walk alongside you, to share weekly tips, simple meal ideas, or quiet reminders to stay kind to your body. May your days be steady, your steps light, and your heart always filled with love for yourself. With warmth, Dr. Andrew Collins, London.